Namaste. Today we are going to talk about the Waqf Amendment Bill, which I believe is not a very necessary legislation for us Hindus. Let me remind you, unabashed Hindu is about Hindu issues, those issues which affect Hindus significantly. So, why am I saying that the Waqf Amendment Bill does not affect us in a significant way? But first of all, let us understand what Waqf Bill is or was. You see, according to Islamic law, when a Muslim dies, he can bequeath or he can give away his property to another Muslim for charity purposes and all. And that property is considered as Waqf generally. I am not much of a legal person, but generally this is a Muslim property. This is a Muslim concept. Now, over the years, what's happened is that under the cover of this particular Islamic provision, which was allowed by the government of India in 1953 and prior to that during the British times, vast amounts of land in India were claimed by various Waqf boards. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that roughly 9 lakh acres of land in India as of between 2024 to 2025 have been claimed by the various Waqf boards. Okay. Now, how much of these lands are Hindu in character? We have very little knowledge. What we can say is that, for example, there is a Tiruchendarai village in Tamil Nadu, which has 1,500-year-old temple. So the Waqf Board of Tamil Nadu claims that entire village as its property. Similarly, in Karnataka, in Vijaypura district, a few years ago, there were just 11 acres of land which were claimed by the local Waqf board in the Vijaypura district, but now that number has jumped to 1,200 acres. So similarly, there are several cases of Hindu properties being claimed by the Waqf board. Okay, and the tragedy was that initially, before this amendment was passed, if my land was being claimed by Waqf, then I could at best go to a Waqf board and place my case there. And if the Waqf board said no, this land doesn't belong to you, then I did not have any option to go to any courts, let alone the Supreme Court. That was the biggest irony. So in this case, in this bill, अब हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास जा सकते हैं वक्फ बोर्ड के फैसले के खिलाफ, मोटा मोटा ये. बट ये जो वक्फ अमेंडमेंट बिल का जो सबसे ज़्यादा जो असर पड़ेगा वो हिंदुओं के ऊपर नहीं पड़ेगा, वो पड़ेगा सरकारी संपत्तियों के ऊपर, ऑन गवर्नमेंट लैंड्स, बिकॉज अ लार्ज पार्ट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट लैंड्स, अ लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट लैंड्स are being claimed by the various Waqf boards, which includes the Parliament of India and various other buildings in New Delhi. So the intention behind this Waqf Board Amendment Bill was not for Hindus actually, it was meant more for the protection of the government properties. Please go through the fine print and then you will understand. Unfortunately, the government is treating or is propagating this Waqf Amendment Bill as something which is like helpful for Hindus. No, it is not on a large scale. Now, from here, I will go to the Places of Worship Act, which has a more important bearing on the Hindus. You know what the Places of Worship Act means? It means that any place of worship, right, which existed in a particular manner on 15th August 1947 will stay the same, okay, unless and until there is already some legal matter going on it. इसका मतलब ये कि अगर कोई हिंदू मंदिर जिसको 400 साल पहले मस्जिद बना के दिया गया था और 15 अगस्त 1947 पे वो अगर वो मस्जिद ही था तो हम उसको क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. मोटा मोटा ये है प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट. This was passed in 1991 or 1992, something like that. Now, मुद्दे की बात ये, इम्पॉर्टेंट बात ये है कि when you fight cases for ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद, ज्ञानवापी मंदिर or the Mathura temple, Krishna Janmabhoomi temple, then the courts always ask the government of India कि boss, what is your perspective, what is your understanding regarding the Places of Worship Act? They are asking, do you support this act or do you want this act to go? Right? Now, since 2019 or 20, the union government, which is actually Modi Sarkar, has not given its reply to the Supreme Court about its stance on the Places of Worship Act in the Gyanvapi case. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Right? All Mr. Modi had to do was simply go to the Supreme Court and say that, my lord, we don't support Places of Worship Act, we will amend it, and insofar as this particular case is concerned, Gyanvapi temple case is concerned, we think that the Places of Worship Act should not apply on this particular case, so that you can declare this particular building as Hindu building. Mr. Modi could have said that in the court, but he hasn't, right? Now, as late as January 2025, some people approached the Supreme Court and said that, look, there are so many cases going around in the country, like for example in Sambhal or in Varanasi or so other, where the local courts are saying that in these cases, Places of Worship Act is not applicable, so they are ordering survey of those mosques and all that. So please enforce the Places of Worship Act. So these people went to the Supreme Court. उन्होंने बोला कि Places of Worship Act को आप जबरदस्ती आप तामील कराइए, आप अपने जूनियर कोर्ट से बोलिए कि वो तथाकथित मस्जिदों को का सर्वे ना कराएं. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा ठीक है. It accepted all the petitions and then it stopped all the local courts from passing any judgments regarding surveys or whatever of those mosques. In between, the Supreme Court also asked the Government of India that please place your opinion about the Places of Worship Act by February 17, right? Because the Union government is a party to this entire thing. It passed the law in 1992. You'd be surprised to know that even as we speak, today is 5th of April 2025, the Union government, Modi ji, has not responded to the Supreme Court's question regarding Places of Worship Act. And there are thousands of such temples which are now mosques and they can be reverted to Hindus, assuming if Mr. Modi says that okay, Places of Worship Act does not apply to these buildings. But Mr. Modi won't do it. He won't do it because his master Mohan Bhagwat has said कि हम कहाँ शिवलिंग ढूंढते पड़ेंगे. अगर हम ढूंढते पड़ेंगे तो फिर देश में तो सांप्रदायिक सद्भाव खत्म हो जाएगा. So why doesn't Mr. Bhagwat also say in this case of this thing, Waqf Amendment thing, कि अगर हम वक्फ की बात करेंगे तो ख़त्म हो जाएगा, सद्भाव ख़त्म हो जाएगा. तब तो नहीं बोले, लेकिन जब हिंदुओं की बात आती है तो इनको सद्भाव दिखने लगता है. तो वक्फ is good for government properties, but not good enough for Hindu properties, please, right? In fact, I did a basic Google or Grok search about Waqf, how many acres of Hindu lands are under Waqf. Okay, I'll do that again. So I'll type this question. Dear Grok, how many acres of Hindu have been claimed by Waqf boards? Okay, so I am asking a question to Grok. Dear Grok, how many acres of Hindus have been claimed by Waqf boards? Right? हमें पता लग जाएगा कितने एकड़ हिंदुओं की जो जमीन वक्फ ने क्लेम की है. देखिए जवाब आएगा अभी. Grok Baba is answering. So Grok Baba has checked 15 web pages and says, I don't have precise data to provide an exact number of acres land owned by Hindus that have been claimed by Waqf boards. Clearly, ज़्यादा land ज़्यादा वो नहीं होंगे, इसीलिए available नहीं है. As this information isn't comprehensively tracked on reported in a single verifiable source. The question involves complex land disputes, legal claims, and historical contexts that vary across India. This means that we don't have an exact data. Okay, it can also mean that हिंदुओं की ज़मीनें उतनी ज़्यादा नहीं दबाई हुई हैं मुसलमानों ने जितना इनको बोला हुआ है. However, Grok says कि there have been notable cases where Waqf boards have claimed land historically linked to Hindu ownership or use. Okay, for example, in Tamil Nadu, the Waqf board claimed 400 acres near the 1,500-year-old Tiruchendur temple, alongside reports of 6 villages and a 1,500-year-old temple being declared Waqf property. एक ये केस है. In Karnataka, disputes like the 1,200 to 1,500 acres in Vijaypura, Honawad village. Okay, तो यहाँ 1200. In Maharashtra, 40 acres surrounding around the Kanifnath temple in Ahmednagar were declaimed, raising concerns, right? And some acres around the Shani Shignapur temple in Maharashtra also. So clearly, contrary to what we have been told, Waqf doesn't affect Hindu properties as much as it does the government lands. Bear this thing in mind. So that's why it's important to note this thing. And it's more important that we should exert pressure on the Places of Worship Act. That, look, हमारे जो हज़ारों मंदिर जो दबे हुए हैं इस समय मुसलमानों के पास में पड़े हुए हैं, हम उनके ऊपर तो हम कुछ फैसला ले नहीं सकते. हम वक्फ कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उससे हिंदुओं के ऊपर कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा है. लेकिन जहाँ पे हिंदुओं की ज़रूरत है, वो पड़ता है, वहाँ पे आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे. So I hope now you understand the importance why I brought this video up. It's more about the Places of Worship Act and not Waqf. Thank you very much. And if you like this video, you may consider donating to swayamt at hdfcbank and help me in making some more videos like these. Jai Shri Ram.